Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Week in Astrology with your friend Gretchen Heidel, full-time astrologer, life coach, Reiki master, and so much more. I am here tonight live on Monday. It's our Monday night date on Facebook, and I'm also co-recording on YouTube. So if you see me looking up and down, that is why I have two cameras going at the same time. And I am going over This Week in Astrology. There's a lot going on, as you guys probably remember from last week if you joined me in my live or if you watched the video from last week. There was a lot going on, and there still is a lot going on. Welcome to everybody who is joining me. Please go ahead and comment below. What is your astrological sign? Where are you tuning in from? I love to hear where everybody's from and what parts of the world you're tuning in from. And it is the exact day of the full moon lunar eclipse. Although we are on the descending part of it, it already took place at the peak of it, but woo, we're not even 24 hours away from that right now. So it is still very much alive, very much active. Welcome, Andrea. Yay. You're my first viewer to comment. Aries, Gemini, Cancer. Oh my. Emily, yes, Florida with Lisa. Oh, that's awesome. We have a lot going on this week. We have a lot happening as far as this lunar eclipse. We are now officially in eclipse season. So pay attention because there's always more than one eclipse. And we just had number one last night. Anybody see it last night? I did stay up and I actually looked outside. It was it was a little disappointing, I'll be honest with you. I thought it was going to be a little bit better as far as like the shadow and seeing the different things. It definitely looked weird optically. Like I kept having to like adjust my eyes because I'm like, am I actually seeing this eclipse or is it a shadow? Like what is it? And of course it was going to be just a shadow of eclipse, but it was still very powerful as far as how we perceive it energetically and astrologically, not just the astronomy part of it, but the astronomy is also pretty impressive. Hey Amir, welcome. Hey Robin, Gemini, yes, happy full moon to everybody. You saw it in the middle of the night. Yeah, it was really here in Vermont, it was very, very bright, though it was a micro moon, meaning that it was far away from us as far as like it looked further away. And also it was that lunar eclipse, but it was not a total lunar eclipse. It was a penumbral eclipse, which basically means it was just like a little partial kind of shadowy sort of thing. The big money maker is going to be coming in April. And so we just kicked off eclipse season. Had a lot going on with this eclipse energetically. Now that's really what's more interesting, is the energy of it. Of course, the astronomy piece of it is totally interesting too, but I'm here dealing in the energy department, and it was 5 degrees Libra. It happened I guess last night, but it was overnight today on March 25th, 2024. And I'm going over This Week in Astrology, I should say, between March 25th and March 31st. So we are ending the March month together. And so, yeah, it was 5 degrees Libra, and then the sun was 5 degrees Aries. So if you have Aries or Libra in your chart, you'll be feeling this. Certainly if you have 5 degrees or if your birthday was around that time. Now, I have to be honest, my birthday was yesterday. So it was all up on the eclipse was all up on my Aries sun, which was kind of not fun. I mean, it was not a terrible eclipse for me, which was awesome. Sometimes these eclipses can happen. I've been getting a lot of questions. People have been contacting me like, oh my gosh, my birthday's around this eclipse or this eclipse, and what does that mean? So yeah, you're kind of for lack of better words, stuck with it in your astrological chart for the year. The eclipse is going to be active for a full year, not just for the 6 months. This particular eclipse for everybody else, not me that has my birthday on it, but this eclipse for the rest of the people is going to last all the way until October 17th. So it's 6 months. And then if you have the eclipse on your birthday, then it's a full year. Lucky me. And everybody, thank you so much. You guys are wishing me happy birthday. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I had a good birthday weekend for sure, except for the fact that there was an eclipse going on, full moon eclipse. So remember that Mercury retrograde's about to start kicking in here. Oh, thank you, Andrea. 111 stars. Thank you so much, Andrea. I appreciate it. Happy birthday, stars. if you guys are interested, stars are a little way of like giving a tip or whatever if you're watching the broadcast. Anyway, so this eclipse is big, it's powerful, and it happened last night. The peak, the height of it, the pinnacle of it was 3 a.m. Eastern time. Now, if you're out on the West Coast, that means it was midnight, exactly at midnight, exactly at 3 a.m. Out on the West Coast, and that was this full moon and the eclipse. Now remember that full moons are when the sun and the moon are opposite of each other. So the sun 5 degrees Aries, the moon 5 degrees Libra. Okay. And that's always a struggle. That's always the crunch, you know, because there's an opposition going on. Aries is all about self. Okay. And I am statements and all that good stuff. It's all about autonomy, learning to stand up for yourself, learning self-confidence, learning how to, you know, function as a singular person. And then Libra's life lesson is all about how to function as a unit, as a partnership, as a duet. And so this can really bring up, because these two are kind of fighting right now, or they're opposing each other. And so that's something that is, you know, gonna sort of stir up some stuff for us during this eclipse. And so, you know, if you're in a partnership or a relationship right now, you could be feeling that push and that pull. How much do I give to you? You know, do you give back to me? Like all these sort of, you know, kind of things that sort of happen as far as these eclipses go. Now, remember that full moons are an ending, a completion, a wrapping up, a finishing. We're finishing out some cycle. We're finishing it out. And so that is something that, that really is powerful. You know, we're purging, we're releasing, we're wrapping up, and we're going to be doing that all the way until April 8th when we have that next big money-making eclipse. Oh, thank you. Kelly gets a, oops, that one was kind of lame. Let's see. There we go. That was a little louder. Oh, thank you, Janice. Janice donated some stars to the reading. Thank you so much, or to the broadcast, I should say, not the reading, the broadcast. And so it is something that we might be kind of pushing and pulling towards. You know, am I giving? Am I over giving? Do I get enough? Do I have enough attention? And the problem with Aries can be a little self-centered, self-focused, you know, a little selfish. And then the problem with Libra can be codependency and sort of over relying on another. So we have these two, you know, kind of battling. Now, there's a good news of this. We could end up in some kind of a middle ground where we give and we receive, and we're able to kind of reconcile these two sides and, you know, come together and have me time and also have we time, you know. When you look at in psychology, the model of different types of interactions, you know, there's hyper independence where you're just completely, you know, autonomous and on your own. And then there's dependence where you're dependent upon another, almost like a parent and a child relationship, or, you know, sometimes that happens with an alcoholic or some kind of thing. And then we have codependence, right? Where there's an unhealthy enmeshment or some kind of thing. And then finally, there's what we call interdependence. And interdependence, from what psychology has to say, is actually more of the model that we want to be in. We want to, like, in other words, interdependence is you can do you, I can do me, and we can be together also and have us time. So it's kind of like, you know, we have a little mixture of both, somewhat of an independence and also somewhat of a nice relationship where it's give and take. So that's something that you know, we would strive for. And so when we talk about this model of Aries and Libra, that's kind of what we're sort of working with. We're working with hyper independence and possibly even codependence. So we want to watch that, you know, and somewhere in the middle is we time. And so that's a thing. I one time went to a Thanksgiving dinner at somebody's house, and there was a couple there that were married 40 something years, and everybody at the you know, Thanksgiving was like, hey, what do you guys do, you know, to be successful? And they both were very adamant, and they said, you have to have a hobby together, and then you each individually have to have your own hobbies. And I thought that was really cool. I mean, you know, we don't have many couples in our society as much anymore that are married 40 years, you know, to be able to gain that wisdom. And I thought that was just wonderful wisdom, being able to have your own thing. She had her own hobby, he had his own hobby that they did separately, and then they had their hobbies they did together and their we time, and that's what helped them to work. So I just kind of felt like that was really powerful, because that's also part of this interdependence that I'm talking about between Aries and Libra. Now, Aries is all about fighting and passion and aggression, where Libra is like, no, I have to be peaceful, and I have to acquiesce, and I have to compromise. And so again, we have to meet in the middle here, and that's the push and the pull. And we're still in it because the moon is still in Libra. We're still in it right now. We were in it all weekend, feeling as we kind of crested up. When you look at eclipses, you have to really look at almost like 2 weeks around the eclipse, each eclipse. So yeah, you're almost looking at a full month of energy, and that's what we call the eclipse portal. And so when we talk about the full moon, really one planet cuts off the other planet's energy for a moment, and then we reboot. And so again, we're going to be having this in our astrological charts, each and every one of us, for the next 6 months. But if it's on your birthday, that's part of your birthday chart, and that's for a full year. And so, you know, sometimes I always say when you have to turn the computer off and then have it come back on again, because the computer's glitchy, well, sometimes it doesn't come back on again. And sometimes that's what eclipses can do too. So people, you know, I have this perpetual pressure constantly from people to go, well, is that good or bad? Is it good or bad? Is it good or bad? Both. It's both. Sometimes eclipses can be a negative thing, I will just be honest. And then sometimes eclipses can be very positive, life-changing. Now, there was a lot of transformative energy behind the scenes during this eclipse. There was a bunch of Pluto transits going on too. So I could have made it, you know, emotional or personal or intense feeling. And so it's something that you want to kind of keep in mind as we are going through this weekend. Now, I did do a little bit about this on my last broadcast, so I'm not going to spend too much longer on it tonight, but I just want to recap in case you missed that. But also, since we are in the portal right now, in the bubble right now. Now, I was asked, I try to, if I'm asked questions throughout the week or whatever from my clients, I try to answer questions because maybe other people might be wondering this. And I had somebody contact me and asked me if it was advisable to do manifesting or magic during this time. And the answer is no. Eclipses are not a great time to do manifesting. Now, the full moon lunar eclipse, yes, we can totally burn our new moon manifestation list from couple weeks ago, if you still have that laying around. I in fact did burn some things last night, and I set some intentions and did that type of thing. But remember, we're releasing something, we're letting go of something, we're purging, we're eliminating, we're getting rid of. That's full moon time. And so I don't think it hurts to let go of something, you know. Look, if it's meant to come back, it will come back. If not, you know, it wasn't meant to be. But if you're releasing something, purging something, getting rid of something, it's totally fine to do that work. But when you're talking about manifesting, like usually people want to manifest in the positive, like as in bring things in. First of all, you wouldn't do that during a full moon anyway, because that's the leaving time, not the bringing in time. And second of all, it's not great to do a lot of heavy intention work around eclipses because it's real wonky. Like the energy can be very, like I said, it can be good or bad or all over, up and down and back again. So there is an element of unpredictability with eclipses. Now, when you look at your astrological chart, again, 5 degrees Libra, 5 degrees Aries, where were they in your chart? And you'll know how this eclipse would affect you. If you are in Aries or Libra, you're ground zero. If you have a lot of air in your chart, because the moon technically was in Libra, so if you have a lot of air, Gemini or Aquarius, you'll feel this also. All of the cardinal signs are going to be activated, so that's even Cancer and Capricorn. So there's a lot of signs that could be affected by this personal eclipse. And so again, where is it in your astrological chart? And you'll know how this will affect you in a personal level. Yes, Ashley Ann, Libra moon. I don't know if you're my only Libra moon tonight or not, but welcome. Yay, Kelly, another bunch of stars. Yay! I appreciate your stars and your support. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So we had it today. It was the penumbral eclipse. I'm going to talk a little bit about, and you know, I'm going to be continuing to talk about. So in 2 weeks, we have the super new moon eclipse, and that is coming on a Monday. It's April 8th. And so that's going to be just straight up in Aries, sun in Aries, moon in Aries. And so that'll be straight up. Oh, okay, Nancy, you have your moon. So you had it in your third house. Do you have Leo rising by any chance? So that's your area of communication, siblings, neighbors, okay? Writing, emailing, talking, networking, communicating, and learning things. So the third house, that's how that will affect you. So we're getting into this next eclipse. That is the money maker. Okay. That's the big kahuna. And that's coming April 8th. Again, it's a super moon. And it's also a new moon, because that's what solar eclipses are. And that's the total solar eclipse that we're going to be in Aries season. It'll be 19 degrees Aries on that eclipse. And that is the big eclipse. They are estimating, I've seen reports, varying reports, that anywhere from 150 to 200,000 people are coming into Vermont to view this eclipse. In fact, they are shutting down government offices and also school days. Not every school district and not every government office. So check with your local one if you are living here and you want to know. And they're advising Vermonters not to leave their house, to stock up on food and groceries and everything else. Because in Vermont here, some of you may not know this if you're viewing from outside of Vermont, it's a small state. There's only like 625,000 people in the whole state. So to have 150 to 200,000 people, they're even saying the cell towers might crash out and get overloaded, and electricity all of a sudden, you know, so little Vermont's not necessarily wired for all this this influx of people. So it might be an interesting time. So make sure if you live in Vermont or in anywhere in the pathway of the eclipse, you know, you might want to prepare for that, you know, influx of and it's going all the way from Texas all the way up through New England. So it's going to be powerful. And so, but the energy of it again is in Aries. So it's reminding us ourselves. Now, I'm looking at it again from, yeah, it's really cool, super cool, astronomical. Anytime, I'm just like tickled pink anytime there's astronomy in the news. Like I just get, I'm like such a geek, but I totally love that. I'm like, yay, people are talking about the planets. I love it. And in fact, we have right now, as we speak, we have a G4 geometric storm, solar storm, which is a really powerful, strong storm, solar flare heading towards Earth as we speak. And that's going on at the same time as this eclipse right now today on March 25th. We also have a solar flare. Solar flares have been shown to increase violence on our planet, which I guess people get cranky pants. I don't know. It can blow out cell towers. It can blow out radio towers. It can affect all kinds of things. But so for sure we're feeling it too. I mean, it's not just like the radiation's affecting the technology, it's affecting us humans. And so there have been scientific studies that somehow correlate it to a rise in violence. So people sometimes do get a little cranky pants. But the good news is that you can see the aurora borealis in some areas as well, which is what a solar flare does. It kind of creates those beautiful lights in the sky. So that would be really fun. Ashley Ann said that maybe it's because of the solar flares. Yeah, exactly. Solar flares can totally affect the satellites. Absolutely. And also we're in the pre-shadow of Mercury retrograde. So when we go towards Mercury retrograde, that's starting on April 1st. But remember that the pre-shadow of Mercury retrograde started last Monday on March 18th. So we're in the 2-week bubble of the Mercury retrograde pre-shadow. So that's also happening too. There's a lot of really super, and I'm talking the most powerful energies of 2024 are mostly happening in April. So as we get closer to April, there's a lot of stuff going on. We're going to have a lot of transformation in our lives. We're going to have a lot of stuff to review. We're going to have a lot of, work to do. We might get ascension symptoms, or, sometimes that can be too much sleep, not enough sleep, dizziness, all kinds of things can be like sort of associated with that. Now, I always say, check with your doctor if you're having a problem. But we could get a lot of downloads. I have shared on this broadcast before, but I do have a lot of heart palpitations and things. And I can tell you when there is a solar flare, my heart responds to it. I can tell you when there's a solar flare without even knowing that there was a solar flare, because my heart goes, I get arrhythmias, and my heart arrhythmia starts acting up. And I had a little glitch earlier today, like a little run of heart stuff. And I feel like that's why, because so it's not just, if you think about our electrical, well, our body's electrical, life is electricity. That's like, a lot of theory about how life started, not just, there's a lot of theories about how life started, but one of the theories is, lightning hit a puddle of water and life grew out of it, the electrical charge. Why does the heart beat? Well, it's electricity, but nobody knows really totally where it comes from. And that's our life force energy, electrical goes all through the body. And so, yeah, can solar flares affect that? I personally have found that to be true. Absolutely, yes. Oh, interesting. Wendy said, your heart's been acting up tonight too. Well, yes, you might have a problem with your heart, and also it'll increase the symptoms. I can tell you every time when there's a big solar flare, and we're in a G4, which is I think it goes up to G5. So, I mean, it's like a very strong, solar flare tonight. So, yeah, we're gonna be feeling it. So anyway, so as we get into the rest of this week, so we just got through this big full moon. The rest of the week is not quite as it was last week. I don't know if you guys saw that broadcast, but I felt like I was on a marathon talking about stuff last week. So I'm going to start with Wednesday. Well, I already started with this Monday, but my next day is Wednesday, March 27th. We have Venus in Pisces, forming an opposition to Black Moon Lilith. Okay, now we know Lilith has been in Virgo for a while now. It's in each sign for 9 months. And all these planets going through Pisces are aspecting Lilith, Black Moon Lilith. And this is coming on Wednesday. When I say coming, I mean the peak of it's coming. But remember, Monday, we're already feeling it. Tuesday, Wednesday is the peak. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it kind of goes like that. So remember, when I talk about these things, I always talk about them in the peak, okay, of that cycle. Now, the good news about Black Moon Lilith is that she's pretty pinpointed. So she's not usually like going on and on and on for months at a time. Like her transits are not usually that long. It'll be confined to this week, but she's still there. And this one could be ouchy in the love department, finances department. So where's Pisces? Where's Virgo in your chart? Black Moon Lilith is acting up. The peak of it, the pinnacle of it, the point at which it's the most strong and powerful is on Wednesday, March 27th. And that is at 10:25 a.m. Eastern time, or 7:25 a.m. Pacific time. Basically going to be there. Now, Black Moon Lilith, okay, she's crunchy, I have nicknamed her the B word, okay? She's very similar to Pluto. Yes, Kate, exactly. You're not a fan of Lilith, she said. Exactly. Yes. We are all going to feel it collectively, but if you have Virgo or Pisces in your chart, you'll feel it even stronger, because that's going to be right up on you. And so Venus is our love. She's the goddess of love, beauty, creativity, and Black Moon Lilith is something we'd rather suppress or repress, or, she's wild, she's untamed, and especially in Virgo, I think she's uncomfortable in Virgo, Black Moon Lilith, because Virgo tends to be a little bit more of a kind of cautious sign, and Lilith likes to rip it up. She likes to be savage and beastly, and yes, Kate, or maybe ignore, we want to ignore something in our life, and so when she gets highlighted, it's very similar to Pluto. I always say, if Pluto is a forest fire, Black Moon Lilith is like a bonfire, like a big huge bonfire, but she's still not quite as burny as or incendiary as Pluto can be. Pluto can kind of just wipe out a whole big deal. But Black Moon Lilith, she's like these micro tears, kind of thing. And she can really be ouchy, Black Moon Lilith. So this can be something brewing. Now I'm going to tell you, she's the seductress, and she can also be associated with cheating. Where is Black Moon Lilith in your chart natally? But also this is where she is transiting wise. So this is active for everybody. So there's going to be lots of stuff. I'd be interested to see what's going to be on the news this week about affairs and cheating and jealousies and, all kinds of things. But you can't control Lilith, like if anybody tries to control Lilith, she's out the door, she does not want to mess around with any of that stuff. So she doesn't like to be manipulated, controlled, told what to do. And especially when we get up with Venus, that's going to affect our love life, possibly our finances, possibly our creativity. If we get into a creative thing with Black Moon Lilith, that could be very dark art, and again, very raw and primal. She likes to be a little bit of a darker sort of force or a darker entity. Thank you, Jackie. 100 stars. Yay! Thank you so much. I appreciate all of your support. You guys are awesome. So Black Moon Lilith is the way to go here. She's going to be on Wednesday. So again, that's the peak. I'm using language. I'm talking about the peak of it, but remember it's active now, active Tuesday, getting into Wednesday. Now, we are not done with Venus yet, because then the next day on Thursday, on March 28th, we have Venus forming a sextile to Uranus, and that's coming at 9:58 a.m. Eastern time, so 6:58 if you're out on the West Coast. Now, Venus sextile Uranus. Uranus is in Taurus, and Venus, again, is in Pisces. This is actually, could be kind of nice. It's sort of like a surprise or something that, but when we couple this with Venus getting stressed out by Lilith, we could have an unpleasant surprise. I'm sorry to say that. It's possible to have a nice surprise, yes. This could be a box of chocolates or some flowers or some kind of nice thing that could be like shocking or unexpected in some way. A sextile is mild and usually mildly pleasant. That's typically what the deal is. You could meet somebody who's different from you or not really your type, or culturally different, religiously different, some kind of difference here, 90-day fiance kind of stuff. Like you could meet somebody from a different culture or race or whatever. And so that's all fun. That could take us by surprise. And certainly if she pops up during a Lilith thing, it could be quite passionate, which would be interesting. But this also has a dark side, because remember what I talked about with cheating and something unexpected and oh my God, it's shocking, because remember Venus is actually getting stressed out by Lilith at the same time she's forming this nice, connection with Uranus. That's usually a nice thing, but with Lilith there's still darkness kind of lurking, and especially when we get into, even though Lilith herself doesn't like to be controlled in Virgo, she can be kind of controlling. She can be a little bit controlling and very intense in Virgo. So, we got to watch that. Watch criticizing your partner. Like, I can't tell you how many people, and I've fallen prey to this myself. I think everybody has, but they try to criticize their partner to get them to change. Oh my, yeah. That can be harsh. And with Black Moon Lilith being in Virgo, that could be a little bit about that. So remember, if you want somebody to be inspired, that's the word, inspired to change, we got to, inspire them, not criticize them into changing. Because can that work? Yeah, but it usually is just short lasting. It's not usually a long lasting thing. So it's usually better to build on strengths and, compliment somebody where whatever there is doing well. Like I always say, reward good behavior. That's a good thing to do. So we got to watch that. We just have to watch that. Either we could be on the receiving end of it, or we could be giving it, dishing it out to somebody else. Now we get into some more minor energies. Thankfully, as we get into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we have a little bit more of gentle time. There's not as many, actually, there's not really any bigger planetary transits on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, thankfully, because I think we've had the last few weeks, I think we've had a lot. I'll just show you my calendar. It's been crazy. All that highlighted stuff is something, so it's really been kind of crazy. Okay, so when we get into Friday, and that's on March 29th, we have two asteroids moving this week, and that's kind of the bigger energy other than this full moon lunar eclipse, are these two asteroids. So we have, or I shouldn't say moving, but they're active. So the first thing is on Friday, and that is where Pallas Athena, or otherwise I call her Pallas, is going to be going retrograde. Now, I know I've been telling you guys the first planet, to go retrograde this year is Mercury, and that is true, except we have Pallas Athena starting us out, and she's technically an asteroid. So she's going retrograde on Friday, 9:18 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, I have all these little nicknames so that you guys can understand some of this energy a little bit better. And I call her Mrs. Mars, just like I called Lilith Mrs. Pluto. I call Pallas Athena Mrs. Mars, though she definitely was not married. In fact, a lot of gay and lesbian people use her as a strong female archetype, Pallas Athena, because she didn't need no man, kind of thing. And so that's part of her story and her archetype. Oh, yay. Thank you, Rosalie. 50 stars. Yay. I'm getting lots of birthday treats tonight. That's awesome. So Pallas Athena, she is very independent. She's very feisty, but she's calculating, and she's a smart lady. Okay, Pallas Athena is very smart. 9:18 a.m. Eastern Time, she's going retrograde. Now, she's retrograde in Sagittarius. So if you guys have any Sagittarius, I happen to know there's a bunch of Sagittarius people watching. Hi, Casey. Welcome, Taurus in Vermont. Love that. There's a bunch of Sagittarians watching, but wherever you have Sag, remember each and every one of us has Sagittarius somewhere in our charts. Okay, and so Pallas Athena has been going through Sagittarius and now is going retrograde. Been in Sagittarius since February 6th. Okay, and then she'll be in Sagittarius all the way until May 16th total. Okay, just so that you know. But then May 16th, she's going back into Scorpio. So she'll be between May 16th and September 9th. And I just like to say these things because I know there are people out there that are watching that like to take notes or write these things down. She'll be in Scorpio from May 16th to September 9th, where she'll be going through Scorpio. Altogether, her retrogradeness, okay, is going to be starting this Friday on March 29th, going all the way until July 9th. And that's going to be when she's retrograde through Sagittarius and also Scorpio. Almost 4 months, like 3.5 months or so, she'll be retrograde. So that's a long time. And again, she'll be in Sagittarius. Thank you so much, Charlie. 100 stars. Thank you. I appreciate it. And hi, Kelly. Welcome. Pallas Athena being in Sagittarius is actually kind of a more natural place for Pallas Athena to be, because Pallas Athena is one of the warrior goddesses. Okay, she's a badass. Like I said, she's a master chess player. She likes to, be strategic. She's said to be the strategy of war. She's like a chess player. She's the cerebral side of war, where Mars is more about, I'm gonna get you, Mars is much more aggressive and in your face and very, where Pallas Athena is much more relaxed, but she's more like, let's go around the gate and bomb them in the middle of the night. She thinks first before she acts. So where are you strategizing in your life? Okay, that's in Sagittarius right now, and that's where we're being very strategic in our planning, in our pattern recognition. Pallas Athena she was said to be very close to her father, so it does have a little connotation with the dad, for good or for bad. Dad's powerful in a chart, and so Pallas Athena. It's funny because Pallas is said to be very predominant in people who are astrologers. And it's funny because my Pallas Athena is conjunct my sun. Okay, and so that's an interesting thing. Yes, Ashley Ann said, I think it's been beneficial for her going forward in Sagittarius for you. I've been so productive these past few months. Exactly. Yeah, so I mean, it's going to be retrograde, but that's okay. So now we're going back to the drawing board on the strategy of the war, that we're having, whatever powerful thing that we're strategizing, thinking about, planning, scheming, all that stuff. That's basically what she's doing. And again, she's going to start this Friday at 9:18 a.m. So she's almost like the pre-appetizer to this Mercury retrograde, which is going to start on Monday. Next Monday, we're 7 days away. I'm going to see you after it already started. It's going to be on Monday, April 1st. And I'm sorry, it's not an April Fool's joke. It's going to be 6:14 p.m. Eastern time, 3:14 p.m. if you're on the West Coast, where Mercury retrograde starts next Monday in Aries. Okay. So there's a lot of fire sign activities. Sagittarius and Aries are both fire signs that are getting activated here. All together through 2024, Mercury is going to be retrograde in all of the fire signs. So first Aries, then Leo, and then Sagittarius. So everyone's getting it if you're a fire sign. It's going to be starting too, but this pre-appetizer, I'm calling it, just a little flavor of it, is going to be Pallas Athena being retrograde. So not fun stuff, but we're going to go back to the drawing board and we're going to be figuring out where in our life is Sagittarius. Is it in your area of health? Well, you might be thinking strategically, which is the 6th house. You might be thinking strategically about your health. Or if she's literally in the 5th house of love, okay, you might be literally thinking strategically about love. Again, she's passionate. She's very much like Mars in a way, so she can be a little sexy. And so if 5th house is area of love, she might be in your 3rd house, communication, where you're having to go back to the drawing board over something you're talking about. So again, where is Sagittarius? Where is she transiting in your chart right now? And then that will tell you where you're going back to the drawing board and sort of going, am I really planning this out correctly? Or am I not, and so that's something to keep in mind. Now, the other big thing, the big news that is going on this week, and then after this, I'm going to take some questions. So if you have any questions in mind, don't put them now until I say, but kind of start to think about that. Yes, exactly, Ashley Ann. You said if it's retrograde, maybe you could use more planning and strategizing for your business. Exactly. That's how you use retrogrades. That's how you use them, is to plan and strategize and really think about, you go back to the drawing board, you do your homework, you do research. That's all that type of stuff. Okay. On Sunday, March 31st, the last day of March, Vesta is going to move into the astrological sign of Cancer. Now, if this seems at all familiar to you, because Vesta is safety, it's home and hearth. They do call Vesta as was like the head of the Vestal Virgins. Okay, so some people think that maybe Vesta might be associated with the astrological sign of Virgo, because Virgo is the Virgin, and so because remember, Virgo shares Mercury with Gemini, so people have actually modern astrologers have actually kind of indicated that maybe Vesta could be Virgo's natural ruler. But Vesta is kind of similar in some ways to Cancer. I think of home and family, but I also think of Vesta as safety, like wearing a helmet or fire detectors or a seatbelt or, anything that keeps you safe. I have some clients with Vesta that's conjunct their sun or Vesta that's conjunct their Mercury, and they're very safety conscious people. They're very cautious and they don't like to take a lot of risk. They like to kind of keep, when it comes to their physical safety, they are very conscious of that. And so Vesta is returning to Cancer. Now, why is she returning? Because she was retrograde all last year in 2023. Vesta was kind of was doing this thing, she was in Gemini, then she was in Cancer, and then she went back to Gemini. Well, now finally, after doing all this stuff, being retrograde and all that, she's finally returning for a second time to Cancer. And so she's going to, so she was in Cancer already between September 13th, 2023 and December 21st of 2023. She already was in Cancer then. She was retrograde from November to February. Okay, so just to give you an idea, like she was retrograde for a while. Well, she's finally returning to Cancer once again. So if you think back to September to roughly almost the end of December, what were you doing in pertaining to home and family? What were you pertaining to home and hearth and safety and all that kind of stuff? And that's what Vesta was doing. She was in Cancer back then, and she's going to be returning to Cancer once again. So she'll be in Cancer now all the way from March 31st until June 19th. And so she's in our area of Cancer. Cancer's home and family. Where's Cancer in your astrological chart? And you'll know how Vesta will affect you. For me, she's in my 12th house. That's like more behind the scenes and, kind of subconscious and unconscious. So I don't know about safety in that particular way, but, I might be more introverted during that time, having Vesta in the 12th house. So it depends on where is Cancer in your astrological chart. And then you'll know how that will affect you on a personal level. Okay. And then she'll be kind of hanging around, so again, she'll be there for a few months. And so we're returning to that time. Exactly, Andrea. Yes, Cancer's your first house and your rising sign. So you'll be all out front with your, the first house is the self, right? So you'll be all out front with your safety, security, and also your home, your love of home, your love of family, because Cancer's home and family. I just said Vesta's kind of similar in some ways to Cancer because it's home and hearth. See, so they're like very sort of, they kind of overlap. So we might be focusing on safety of the home, handrails and guardrails and I don't know, floodlights and, those ring alarms and all kinds of different things that can improve your personal safety. Okay. Maybe you need to cover your outlets or, baby proof your home in some way. I don't know, but it's about improving that quality. If you haven't replaced your smoke detector batteries in a while, maybe you're going to do that. Like, it's just about improving around the house, and we'll be returning to that. Like I said, on Sunday, it's going to be going into Vesta will be returning to Cancer on March 31st, 2024, and that's going to be at 7:03 a.m. Eastern time, and it will stay in that sign all the way until June 19th. And like I said, we're repeating this. We're actually repeating this because it already was in Cancer during the last fall, going from like September to December. We already did this, and now we're doing it again because that's what happens when we repeat things. When we do retrogrades, it's not just the retrograde itself, but it's the coming and the going and the coming and the going. It's like going back to second grade 2 or 3 times. It's like we have to kind of continue to learn and explore those lessons. And so we're all getting an extra little longer lesson of Vesta in Cancer than usual. Okay, so that's this week in astrology. You can hear much lighter week. Last week, my gosh, I was like, I felt bad. I was like, I was going to overwhelm everybody, but yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on last week. And by the way, I forgot to mention this last week, but since we're still here, in reference to Libra moon, I wanted to mention that wonderful stones for Libra are tiger's eye. Ooh, there we go. I don't know if you can see that there. It has like an iridescent quality to it. Tiger's eye is a great stone for Libra. It's very grounding. It's very like good for that balance. When we're talking about Libra's balance and indecision sometimes can be helped by tiger's eye. It's very grounded. I love this too, which is called Tiger's Iron. This is actually my favorite one. Okay. Tiger's Iron. I'm trying to see if you can see on the camera there. It's got like these little bands of hematite in it, and carnelian, and tiger's eye. So it's like 3 things in one. This is a very more masculine stone. A couple people on here were talking about they were having maybe some heart problems, arrhythmia, or obviously call your doctor if you have things like that. But if you want something that can kind of ground you a little bit, this is something that is a very grounding, very healing. It is a little bit more of a, they call it a masculine stone. I've given this to many men in my life because men tend to really love this stone. It's very extremely heavy. It's shockingly heavy. When you pick it up, it's like, wow, this is like a weighted stone. That's because it has all that hematite in it. If you can see these little bands, and hematite is something that tends to have a little bit more heaviness. This bracelet is hematite. If you can see, it's a heavier kind of stone, and hematite's really wonderful for protective qualities. So I meant to mention tiger's, I keep showing you like the bad side of the stone, but tiger's eye and tiger's iron are great stones for Libra to kind of balance some of that imbalance issues that sometimes Libra can get. So yeah. Sarah. Sarah's asking questions about your health. Well, I can't do a health reading on a live broadcast. I apologize, but I can just pull a general cards. I know you're going through some stuff there. General cards for health. Okay. Oh, you're in the muckety muck of it, honey. I love you. You're in the muckety muck. This card is associated with depression, feeling like, I don't know if you can see, she's like on her boat and she's got a little sliver of the light. This is a moon card, and moon is definitely associated with a lot of emotions. And it can be that you don't know everything yet. Like you don't maybe have a diagnosis yet, or you don't know, like you feel like you're in the dark maybe about your health. And I just kind of feel like, but also it's just feeling down, you know. I'll tell you, I know that you just recently fell not long ago, and I went through that, you know, a few years ago, and whew, that was rough. That was really rough. And it can be very depressing, and it can make you feel yucky and all kinds of things. Let me ask what your angels want you to know, Sarah. I hope you're still around, Sarah. Let's see. You're still on the broadcast. Oh, but this is perfect. Have faith. It's saying don't give up. Don't give up. Yeah, guardian angel. Okay, she's saying have faith. It will get better. It will. I hope that helps you. But you're really, moon card is not a happy card. I'll be honest. It's like, it's kind of like you're feeling down, depressed, unmotivated, or in the dark about something, but it's not a fun card. It's an emotional card, but it's yeah. Yeah. Okay. She said, thank you. Spot on. I missed a couple here. Oh, nice, Ashley. And you said when you were a kid, you made big decisions with tiger's eye. That's amazing. Kelly, career question. Let's ask Kelly Z. Yes, it was Kate Bush song. Thank you for the, wow, you could be on Name That Tune or something, Ashley Ann. I didn't even sing like a full, yeah, exactly, Kate Bush. That's a great song, Sarah. Google Don't Give Up with Kate Bush. I think that's what it was called, but beautiful song. Okay, Kelly Z, career question. What did you need to know about your career? You're kind of bored, it looks like, right now. It's saying right now, Kelly, that you're bored or lonely, or just like working by yourself. I don't know. You're just kind of sitting there. And this is saying, try again, you will succeed. Okay. Because it seems like you have some kind of plan or something up your sleeve. And then this card is about potentially adding an additional source of income. You see how she's juggling a couple different things. So maybe you have a full-time job and then a part-time job, or a career a hobby you want to make into a career or something. But it's like almost like you want something more. But it's saying not to like give up that job, at least right now. It's saying add something, not take away that job. It does feel like you're in a little bit of a rough patch, like kind of like I said, like bored, or just feeling, I don't know, kind of uninspired, I guess, a little bit. Okay, I hope that helps, Kelly Z. Lisa's finances. Okay, let me look Emily is asking for Lisa, who's there with you. Let me look at this deck. What do we need to know about Lisa's finances? Oh, Lisa. Lisa. Okay. Your finances have been going through a lot of ups and downs. I know it's a live broadcast. I don't want to air all your dirty laundry, but I feel like as if there's some kind of something you just went through, like maybe it was like a divorce or a breakup, or I don't know, something like outside of you affected your finances. And it feels like it's a very, like, I'm feeling like a peaks and a valleys, like, if that kind of helps. And you feel a little bit forsaken. Like there's this like hermit card coming out, like you have to do everything by yourself. You know, but the big thing is maybe you're thinking of moving. I don't know if you're thinking of moving or not, but this is the move card. Literally, she's flying over the earth. So like, you know, and so this could mean that something that could really help your finances is moving. Also, you're very good. You have like a gift of the gab or some kind of, like writing or train, like you could be a teacher, a trainer, or some kind of a thing, Lisa, like where you're very good at communicating, and that could be part of a new job or part of a skill that you have that you haven't like maybe totally explored yet, or you don't realize how good you are at it. It's like, it's sometimes when I'm in readings, I tell people like, you're so good at this, and it like, it's funny because a lot of times our blessings, we don't think are blessings. It's kind of like my right arm, like my right arm's a blessing. Really? Like it just is just hanging now. It's just hanging here, like connected to my shoulder. I don't know why you would think it was a blessing, but it is a natural gift or talent or ability that you may have that has been unexplored. With you got the card of Mercury. So Mercury's talking, communicating, writing, emailing, or traveling. And so that's interesting because you're getting the move card too. So it's like you have a blessing. I feel like it's untapped because you don't even think it's really a blessing. You kind of just think, well, everybody does that. But no, not everybody does. And you're probably really good at it. I hope that helps. I feel like you're going to get out of it though. Like you're going to stabilize. Like there feels like there's this been up and down. I feel like you're going to start to stabilize once you figure that out. Hope that helps. Oh no, court again, Nancy. Okay, let me ask one more, and then I'm gonna do the collective card, what we all need to know, okay, to live our highest, truest, best selves and best lives. I hope Lisa heard that, Emily. Okay, Nancy, what do you need to know about court? Funny enough, you got Jupiter just fell out. I didn't pull it; it just fell out, and this Jupiter is associated with law and legal things, so that makes sense. You're welcome, Emily. Hope that helps. Tell Lisa I said hi. Okay. Let's see here. Nancy. Oh, I don't know if he'll show up either again. Oh God, this guy. This person. It's interesting you got the same card. That's funny. Okay, so there's a lot here. And legal readings and health questions are tricky to do on a live broadcast, so just bear with me. Obviously, if you guys want a personalized astrological session where I can take a really deep dive into the topic, that's fine. But okay, so you got the legal card that fell out, and then you got like alone again, and this is that card that came out for somebody else. Okay, alone again. You're worried about money, Nancy. There's a big money concern here, but it is saying, keep trying. You got the same card. Keep trying. Try again, and you will succeed. That's that card. And then also there's the rules and regulations card. So I almost wonder if this person's going to have like a warrant out for their arrest or some kind of, ramification if they don't show up this time. Like there's going to be a serving of papers or some kind of a thing, but it's saying like, keep at it because you will succeed, and it might not even be right now. I know you said that there's going to be a big court date coming up right after the eclipse. I think you said court again, 6 years. Oh my God, that's crazy. I don't know if you said the eclipse. Maybe I made that up. Let me ask one quick question for Nancy. Yeah, honey, I'm sorry. Nancy, there you go. Oh, you said Wednesday. Still saying to be patient. Sorry, dear. All right, so I hope that helps. I am going to just quickly recap, and then I'm going to pull the big card for the week. And again, if you guys want to have a personalized astrological session, feel free to text message me is the best way, email or DM or whatever. I schedule my sessions Tuesday through Friday. And I just need to have your astrological birth stuff, and that's it. And then we do the reading. And you can ask me anything you want during a reading. I have people that get confused about that. Astrology is my tool that I use, okay? It's like, you go to the doctor's office and they get a stethoscope and, all the different things. That's my tool. But the important thing is the information. So, I mean, you can ask me anything. You can ask me about your parents. You can ask me about your, love partner. You can ask me about your pets. I mean, I'm not limited to talking about just astrology. Astrology is the method and the tool, and one of the tools that I use. I use cards in my readings, and I'm clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, which means I see, hear, and feel things. So there's many different ways that I access information. And so, I don't know why people get so confused about that. Maybe I'm not doing a good job on my website explaining that, but that's basically what the deal is. And then the amount of time you pick is just the time you get to talk to me and ask questions and have me explain things and all that. Very quickly, we had the big full moon lunar eclipse on Monday, today, March 25th, and that is active for 6 months, not just today, all the way until October 17th of this year. So there's a lot of energies being activated because we are in an eclipse portal. Then we get into Black Moon Lilith on Wednesday, and Thursday we have 2 Venus things back to back, Wednesday and Thursday, Venus, Black Moon Lilith, and Uranus. So there could be something shocking, unexpected, which could be maybe hopefully fun, but maybe not. Okay, that's Wednesday and Thursday. And then we get into Friday, where Pallas Athena, the strategist, the master chess player, she goes retrograde. And then on Sunday, we have Vesta, all about home and family. She's all about the homestead and what we're going to do at home and how we're going to make it safe and how we can make our family safe and ourselves safe and all the good safety stuff, and really get into snuggle bunnies, okay, being home and family all the way until June. She's going to be there. So going through Cancer, making our house pretty and making our house safe and all the fun things that Vesta can do for us in that area. Okay, so I am going to pull a card. What do we need to know for this week? There's a lot going on as usual, but not quite as much as the other weeks in March. What do we need to know about this week coming up? Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. I'm going to pull another one. Okay. Well, we need stress management. Guardian Angel card is coming out. Stress management. She's stressed out. Whenever this card comes out, there can be a very stressful situation. But you know what? Sometimes when we're stressed, at the end of the day, there's the miracle card just came out actually after that. So, I always tell people in sessions, 80% of things, probably 90% of things actually end up working out, and so, have faith and trust in yourself that these things, even though it's stressful, even though it's a nail biter, even though it's like whatever it is you're waiting on, and there's a lot of Mercury retrograde stuff and all, we have to accept that. Okay, I just pulled a different card, different deck. Accept what is. We have to accept some of these things that, okay, you got caught in a traffic jam. You have to accept it, okay, having acceptance of it. But there could be something really cool coming, miracle, in fact. We just don't want to push the envelope too much, okay? Because again, people might be grumpy pants around this Black Moon Lilith thing, especially on Wednesday. So we want to, just kind of take it easy and just have faith that it's going to work out. Have faith that these things are going to work, and know that whatever. I always ask for things to happen in everybody's highest, truest, and best, thing. And then that way, I'm done. The angels can just take it over. I did every earthly thing I can, and then I'm done. And so it's kind of good to know that, to hang with the energy and then just release it. Just release it, let it go. Let it go. It's all going to work out. Because we always want to push and manipulate and try to, because that's all that earthly stuff, where manifestation stuff is really, it's about kind of leaning back. Like I always tell people, when you manifest, you want to like think of whatever the thing is and then release it. Just let it go. And those manifestations come the fastest when it's like, you want something. Let's talk about manifesting really quickly, even though we're not manifesting right now because it's the full moon. But let's talk. I've manifested now not one but 2 sets of AirPods, because I just thought about, oh, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't that be nice to have that thing? Or wouldn't that be nice to have an AirPod? And boom, they showed up. Both of them came by mail by people that didn't tell me they were even sending them to me, and they came. So it's always about, you want to feel the feeling and do all the stuff that you can do, okay, in the 3D, that you can do in the 3D, and then release it and let it go, and be open to the miracles that happen, okay? And sometimes the miracle that happens is the thing that doesn't happen. You know, you ever want something really badly and it didn't work out, and then you found out later that it would have been horrible if it did? You know, you wanted to date that one person, you know, and then you found out they were a narcissist or a cheater or some kind of horrible, you know. I actually had a time in my life, I wanted this house so badly. I had a house, I loved this house. I fell in love with the house. And I found out, and it was at my upper price range, and like it would have been a super stretch for me to buy this house. And then I ended up finding out afterwards, years later, like 3 years later, it had a huge environmental cleanup, like $60,000. It was a leaking oil tank underground that contaminated not only the land, but all the neighbors' land too. It was a horrible mess. But see, I wanted it. My angels were like, go over here now. Don't do that. That's a terrible idea. You know, and I cried, and I drive by. I was mourning the loss of the house. I drive by like, that was my house. And it wasn't my house, because my angels were protecting me. So sometimes the miracle is not getting the thing or not having that turn out. Sometimes. And remember, we're in the full moon. We're letting go of things. So if it's meant to be, it'll be. And if not, set me free. That's my favorite saying. If it's meant to be, it'll be. If not, set me free. All right, everybody, lots of love. And again, if you want a personalized astrological session, check out my website at GretchenHeidel.com. I love all of you. I hope you guys had wonderful, wonderful full moon lunar eclipse. We are in the eclipse bubble. Things might get a little intense in this 2 weeks. So, you know, just because the eclipse portals are open. So yeah. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for the stars tonight. You guys are amazing. Namaste. The light in me sees and acknowledges the light in you. Have a great night. Bye.